tell us a little bit about, let's say, your project. So what are the challenges in your role and maybe some of the projects you are proud of?
Yeah, of course. So perhaps I'll start by introducing Geopost just a little bit,
please.
because I'm not sure that everyone in the room knows who we are.
We have an international audience.
So we are a market leader in parcel delivery and also e-commerce solutions. And we're actually part of the French Post, so La Poste Group. And last year we represented around, I would say, 45% of their revenue. So I think it's maybe a little known fact that La Poste is actually very present internationally. So as Geopost, we are present in around 50 countries, and we operate through a number of local commercial brands. And for those of you that are based in France, you'll probably know us best as DPD or as Chronopost. I think just in terms also of the size of the company at the moment, last year we posted revenue of around just under 16 billion euros, and we delivered around 2 billion parcels in 2023.
Wow,
so that's who we are.
That's a big one, all right.
So obviously,
got our attention.
Yeah, so obviously given the size, we also, and I think it was also, Sonia was saying it, we also have a responsibility in terms of how we can help sort of transform also the parcel delivery sector. And as a business, we have also set ourselves a goal of becoming the international reference in sustainable delivery. And one of the key areas that we focus in on is obviously how we can decarbonize our operations. And around 2 years ago now, we set a net zero target for 2040 that was validated last year by the SBTi. So that's really kind of shifting our focus and really helping us to hammer down on how we can go about decarbonizing. And so to your point about, well, how are we doing that? So I think what's quite interesting is to consider the last mile is probably the most visible part of the iceberg, as it were. It's what everyone sees on the roads is our vans. And we've been working on sort of switching away from diesel vans towards primarily electric in the last mile, I think for over 10 years now. And I think we've made really good progress. Today on fleet, we have around 9,000 low-emission vehicles, and it represents about, today, just under 14% of our overall last-mile fleet. But we need to keep in mind that if we are to meet our net zero target, we need to have reached 100% by 2035, and that's really what we're working on now.
That's your target?
In terms of the fleet.
35.
So no, net zero by 2040.
Okay.
Fully alternative fleet in the last mile by 2035 if we to meet the 2040 goal. And I think it's important to note that obviously for us decarbonization, a big part of it is around electrification, but it's not only about that. I think Ruben also alluded to the fact that it's also about going and continually looking for those operational efficiencies in terms of how we're filling our vehicles, we're planning our routes,
Are you the cargo bike in this slide?
And so we do have a couple of cargo bikes on fleet at the moment. And I think last year we increased it by about a fifth, the number of cargo bikes we have operating in Europe. And it's not only about getting those cargo bikes, it's about how are we going to operate those cargo bikes. So we're also working on building out a series of urban depots, because obviously the closer we are to the city centres, the shorter the final distance, and the more we're actually able to use other alternatives like cargo bikes. So that's also part of the way we're looking to decarbonize the last mile.
So these are kind of little hubs where the cargo bikes go and pick up?
Yeah, well, they can be, well, obviously where some of the vans also come to deliver the parcels, and then they'll go out for delivery from those hubs. Sorry, the depots.